Hi.
Hello.
Can everybody hear me?
I can hear you.
Yep.
Okay. Hi, Brian. Hey, everybody. Oh, good.
Hi.
All right.
Can you see me, Deb? Hi, Deb. This is Lee. Can you see my picture up there?
Hi,
No,
Lee.
we can't see you, Lee.
You have to, sometimes down in the bottom corner or the upper corner, you have to allow video.
Oh, okay.
See you. Hi.
Hi. All right. Let's see.
I still don't see you, Lee, but. Okay, so welcome. I'm kind of just waiting for people to hop on. So I know most. There you go. I see you now.
Here I am.
Yes, I have a few new faces. So I just thought I would lead tonight with a quick intro. I'm trying to get used to giving myself an intro. So for those of you that don't know me, so my name is Debbie Dixon, and I'm an author. I wrote the book, The Path to Freedom, Your Guide to Living the Life of Your Dreams. And I'm an intuitive life coach. And this is what kind of spurred these conversations, is my life coaching, the piece of me. I also am an inspirational speaker and the founder of a nonprofit called Love is the Truth. Love is the Truth is a nonprofit organization, that's better, I can see you all now, that is where I utilize teachings of yoga and meditation and mindfulness towards healing. So this is a continuation of last week, and last week, don't know if you guys remember, but we talked about, there's some more coming back on, there you go. Guys, we talked about the goal of life. Anybody remember?
Joy.
What?
Joy.
Joy. Okay, I love it. That's right. Who said that, Brian? Is that you? Yeah. So yeah, the goal of life being joy or happiness. And we were also talking a lot about these two energies, fear and love, and how they impact our lives, and how they can actually have tangible forms, how fear can show up in our lives, in our physical experience, in our health, can impact us, and in our relationships, and just all of that stuff. So this week we're going to continue that conversation, and I felt like we would dive deeper into the power of intention. Really, I'm just kind of feeling what's happening around us, and dealing with some of the big changes that have happened, and sort of how to ride this wave. And I thought that this might serve us the best. So I did want to start tonight with giving you the opportunity to send me a little private message if you don't want to interact, if you just want to sit back and be a participant. And that's totally okay, but I just don't want to, make you feel you have to talk if I call you out or something like that. So you can just go in and send me a little message, and I will honor that. And then we're going to hopefully, if you don't mind participating, I'm going to have each one of you say your name really quickly and say, just like we did last time, scale of 1 to 10, your happiness level right now. And scale of 1 to 10, your commitment level towards change. And whatever is happening in your life right now, whatever aspect of your life is changing, how much are you willing to commit towards implementing this change? So we'll start with Riley, since she just popped on.
Hi guys.
Hi.
So my happiness level actually is pretty high, all things considered. I think maybe like a 7.5. My commitment is also a 7.5.
All right. Who wants to go next? Chris.
Okay. My happiness level, I'm Chris, and I would say I'm much better this week at an 8 today, and I'm pretty committed to change too. I'd say 7.5 there, so.
Amazing. Do you think it's the weather?
Yeah.
That helps.
Yeah.
And I completely turned off the news.
Oh, I love that so much.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, that was,
Big.
I'm not a news watcher, and for some reason that sucked me in, and now I know why not to do that.
Oh, fantastic. Sonia. Oh, you're on mute, so we can't hear you.
Sorry.
Oh, there you go.
I should know how this works by now with all the yoga, virtual yoga. Okay. You said there was a
Your level
for happiness and commitment to what?
change.
Change. Oh, I'm pretty happy. Weather's good. Still vibing high. Commitment to change. Well, just in general, you mean?
Like, so, whenever we're embarking on a change, we have to bring a certain level of commitment to that change. We can't just expect it to happen if we're not willing to step up, right? So I'm just saying, it's something really what I'm asking you to do is to bring that into your consciousness right now, that, if I am looking for a change, and every single one of us is being asked to change right now. So we're all.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I totally agree with that. And I've been so aware of that,
Yes.
Bring it on. I'm at least a 9.
So how much resistance is there would probably be, otherwise your commitment would be full 10, right? But there might be a little resistance towards change, and that might bring you back to that 7.5 like Riley.
Maybe it depends what it is. I don't know. I'm kind of excited to see what's going to happen. I mean,
so
I see some good things.
Showing up.
For showing up? So
you're a 10 showing up to change.
I mean, it just depends what it is, I guess. I mean, I want to see change, but there's a bit of resistance, I guess, because I don't know what it is, but I tend to look at the better side of things, because we were doing this meditation. I don't know if you ever met Shantae at the studio. She's one of the teachers. And she did a meditation, and we were talking after, like a real debriefing. I mentioned all these things, all the good things were happening. And then one person goes, well, all these people are losing their jobs and da-da-da. I'm like, yeah, you're right, but look at all the people that are out there helping, and I think I've been doing this for about a year now, this being an alignment thing, that I'm could be awakenings and stuff like that too, but my brain is trained. I'm trained my brain to look at good in everything. So
I love it. So
there's still a little bit of reservation. I don't think I'm quite a 10 because I'm of the unknown. Maybe I'm excited for change, but it just depends on what it is. I don't know how to explain it.
How about Brian L? Oh, you're on mute too. Okay.
Is that me?
Yes.
Hey guys, I would say I'm a little happier this week, so I'd say about 6 to 7. And I'm totally committed, so.
Bringing it.
Yeah, bring it on, like 8 motivated, for change right now, so.
Yeah.
Perfect. And how about Pat?
Let's see. So I think it's the weather, but I'm definitely happier than last week too. So 7 or 8, and the commitment to change. I feel like there's a lot of pressure for changes that don't necessarily make any sense or are not based on real information. So that's frustrating. But for me, making personal changes in my life, I'm a 9 for sure.
Yeah. Yes. I'm curious too, how many of you made changes over this last week based on our last talk? Like, Chris mentioned turning off the TV. Did everybody do that?
Yeah.
Kind of make some other-
I don't watch TV. I rarely watch TV. So
Perfect.
I've been on
Any other
Facebook though, and
changes?
there's a lot of bad stuff on there.
Yeah.
I scroll past it though. I just
Mhm. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Rosita,
Hi.
your happiness level.
I'm probably 5. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, this past few days because of the weather, I guess I was more happier, but it kind of changes depending. Yeah.
Yeah. And your willingness to step up, to commit to change.
10.
I love that. Yay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty committed. Yeah.
Love it. How about Aaron?
Hello. I would say my happiness would be 9, and commitment to change 9.5. I'm figuring things out, like what the change is. So, but I'm always excited about new stuff,
Yeah. Just needing the clarity, but yeah.
Yeah.
Susie.
Unmute. Okay. I would say I am happiness level around an 8 today. And I always like change. I feel like when there isn't change happening is when I start feeling stuck. So I love having change in my life for some reason. So I'd say 10.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we want to keep growing. So and if you're the mastery, I think, in life is how willing we are, how adaptable we are, and if we are constantly moving towards change. So, that is kind of a goal, to get comfortable in the uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
So how about Lee? Good to see you.
Hi, I'm Lee, and I'm new to this group, as you can tell. So my happiness level, actually my happiness level plays into my commitment level as well. My happiness is, it's twofold. It's a spiritual happiness. How am I doing with my spiritual development? Do I feel at that level, who I am there? Am I happy? And I'm very happy there. And that goes with my commitment, because I'm very committed to making those changes, okay, that bring me that happiness. Now, then there's this physical, okay, everyday today life. It can be better, but it's okay. So I'd say about 6.5 on that. But I'm committed to change, and I do every day. So right now I'm in a phase where that's my life right now. It's focusing on some changes that I want to go through, spiritual and physical. So I'm 100% committed, and I'm happy where I'm at.
Welcome. Awesome. Good to see you. Brian Ray.
Yes, so on a happiness scale, I think in this moment, I'm about an 8, maybe even a 9. And when it comes to commitment to change, I think I'm at a 10. But when I think about, do I have resistance to change? I think by default, yes. So if I'm measuring default and node resistance as a 10, I'm probably like a 7.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. The honesty, the brutal honesty in that. Recognizing that we all have some resistance that we're working through at all times. And resistance shows up sometimes just because we're making forward movement. So it's just a natural, law, force or pushing forward is going to be met with opposition. It's just the way life is. So, and it's just how do we move through it? Yesterday I again, dealing with and adapting to these changes and what's happening. Yesterday, we had a live dream board event. Have you guys done this before? Created, vision boards? Yeah, everybody's familiar with what that is. It's like you take pictures and, words and things like this, things that you want to create or just make you feel good to look at, inspirational things, and you put it on a board and put it somewhere that you look at it. So anyways, this has been a fun event that we've done in Seattle and every year. And of course this year couldn't happen. There's nobody's getting together, and it would be a pretty big event. They've always, it got bigger and bigger every year. So it's gotten pretty big. This year, because of this whole quarantine thing, we did this online. So it became a Zoom meeting style. And I was asked to speak for this event, and I was sort of thinking about it and, where we are this year. If I'm sitting there and doing a dream board, it's going to be very different than last year's. Last year I might have put a whole bunch of stuff that I want, like a big house or, a relationship, just all these different, I had a different idea. And really, this is sort of the blessing that we've gotten with this pause of the quarantine, the sort of forced pause, is this time of reflection where we could sit down and look at what is really important. And I might pick different things for my vision board. And when I was thinking about everybody out there, and a lot of people now having to really take a look at their health, their wellness, the way that they're interacting with life, taking care of their bodies, a lot of that is changing and becoming more of a priority, I think. We're being forced to look at our relationships really closely and how important they are on our overall happiness, especially those really close to us, significant other, family, those sort of things. And now that everything else has been it's like this has been the great equalizer, and so everything's been leveled out, and we're here focusing on, our lives in under a whole different paradigm, just the way that we're looking at things. And so again, it comes back to now we're looking at what would bring us happiness, and what shows up as the answer to that question is very different than probably last year or the year before. It's not quite as important to anymore, having a whole bunch of money in the bank, because it's not going to serve you in this moment. What would you do with $1 million? You still can't go out, you can't travel, you can't. So it doesn't mean anything. But what really means something is our happiness, and our health, how well we've taken care of ourselves. Those are the things that are standing out right now. So and it's funny, some of you know this because you've personally, you've gone with me on retreats, but I lead transformational retreats. And I do one to Costa Rica every year. I've gone to Peru. This year I was planning on India and Bali. And and what typically the people that come with me are people that are looking for some sort of change. They're embarking on change in their life. They're feeling like something, a stuckness. They want to make a shift, and they're looking for clarity. So oftentimes people are coming with me because they're looking for that. Some people are just coming because they want yoga and a good time, whatever. Yeah, but most of the time, hey, they're there to do the work, and they want this shift. And the reason that I do retreats for this work is because if I can pull you out of your day-to-day routine, if I can, sort of really uproot you from everything that you know and toss you into this environment that is oftentimes quite challenging because it's very different. It shakes things up. I mean, when we go to Costa Rica, everything about it is different. I wake you up extra early. I make you do yoga. We have a whole new routine, for one. The environment's different. Oftentimes we have a lot of getting close to nature happening. Our food changes. Everything changes. And so we shake things up. And then I make you extra, extra uncomfortable. And then I ask you to find comfort there. And so it's in that place where we kind of shake things up. And in yogic terms, there's deities that represent some of these different aspects of life, things that we go through. And Shiva would represent transformation. He is usually the deity you're going to look at when you're going through some big change. And Shiva represents destruction, creation happening simultaneously. So we have to essentially, and this is not just in physical things. It's not like, you know, we need an earthquake to come in and shake things up and then we can rebuild, right? Although that is the case. You can view it that way, but you're also shaking up sometimes your own paradigms, your belief systems. We're going to go in and break those old belief systems up so we can replace them with new ones. So this is a little bit of what I wanted to talk about tonight. So we're going to talk about Shiva and Shakti, these two different energies that work, and come back to that love and fear. So we'll sort of intertwine it, and power of intention and how that all plays. Is everybody familiar with power of intention? When I say that, you kind of have an idea of what I'm talking about. Is anybody like, no, I have no idea? Oh, I love that. Okay, well that makes it really easy. So, so power of intention. How many of you practice intention regularly? Raise your hand. So do you practice it every day? Would you say like you wake up and set an intention, or do you practice it throughout the whole day? Or is it just like you're just kind of aware of it?
We always are doing it, whether we are aware of it or not.
Exactly. Yeah.
I live my life with intent.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. How do you live your life with intent?
Oh, I have a list of things that I need to accomplish in a certain time frame, and I move towards that with my daily activities, and maybe a little tiny bit one day and a little bit more the other day, but I live my life with that intent to solve those things.
So goals is kind of like goal setting. You're saying, I have these goals that I want to achieve, and you put them out there, and it gives you something that you're moving towards.
Yes, and I actually show intent by doing, then I get cooperation from the universe, and moves it along. So as long as I show my intent in action, I get help.
Yeah. And so I'm trying to figure out if I want to digress on that. I have a lot to say around that. It's very true, you know, but first I want to get clear about what intention is and what I'm talking about when I'm talking about intention. And I do love what you said, that absolutely, that to really put some fire under intention, you know, and action obviously is going to help out, because it's going to build faith in that intention coming to fruition. But yeah, it sounds like a lot of you guys are utilizing intention by maybe in that goal setting aspect. How many of you throughout the day pause and say, what is my intention for this moment? I love that, Riley. Yeah?
It seems to me that goals are different than intention.
Mm-hmm. How?
Well, a goal is like a defined outcome, whereas like an intention is sort of more nebulous. So like if your intention is like, I want to be like experience joy, or I want to like step into my soul's power, or whatever your intention is, that could manifest in myriad different ways. But a goal is like, I want something specific.
Yes. Yeah.
They can be both, probably. They can be both.
Oftentimes, you know, I agree very much with what Aaron said. And for me personally, I will view goal setting as it can create. It's good to have goals, but if we hold on tightly to them, and that, you know, they're supposed to show up in a certain way, it can actually cause, you know, it's essentially expectations. I'm expecting that if I do this work, that this is going to happen, and when it doesn't happen, there's suffering. And so anytime that we set expectations, suddenly we open ourselves up to that possibility of suffering. And so, yeah, with intention, it's very different. And the way I see it as well, that intention is more, you're creating an essence around something. There's this feeling tone. For example, my intention would be, I'm going to go to the store. You know, I'm driving to the store. I want to get there safely. I want to have a nice drive. So I'm bringing that feeling into me in that moment. I'm intending that this is going to happen and this is the way I'm going to experience it. And I'm sort of bringing that essence in and that energy in. And again, and the other thing with intention that I want to speak here on is, so I'm going to come back to this talk about Shiva and Shakti. I'm going to bring in Shakti. So Shiva, again, in yogic terms, Shiva is going to represent the formless. It's kind of consciousness. It's what exists in your imagination. If you close your eyes and you think of something, and so it's not quite here yet. You can't touch it, but it's existing in your mind. So it can be very real there, right? You can create the experience of it, but it's not tangible. It's not physical. It's not here in form. So Shakti would be form. So there's these two really powerful energies always working, Shiva and Shakti together. Shiva being consciousness, Shakti being form. Everything is born first in consciousness. It's born first in the mind, in the creation. We imagine it, we feel it, it shows up there. And then from that place, it becomes tangible, into fruition in some way. So two other powers that are necessary in discussing this is, again, we come back to intention, but also attention. So whenever I talk about Shiva and Shakti and kind of the consciousness and how it comes into form and this kind of thing, a good way to explain it is, oh gosh, I heard a woman last night on the talk, the dream board chat. She said this incredibly well. Where you always spend your money on what it is that you value. So where your money goes shows you what you value. Okay, so when I was thinking about intention, if we think about what it is that we're placing our attention on right now, whatever it is that you're focused on, maybe there's something that's showing up a lot for you. So when you're sitting in your stagnant time, or you're taking your walks in nature, which I hope you're doing, or you're going to have something that's going to keep rising up within you. This thing that's getting your attention. It's trying to. It's calling to you. It's wanting that shift. And so the power of attention, whatever it is, that's similar to. Have you ever heard the phrase "pay attention"?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. So we're actually giving a currency, a value to attention. We're saying pay. Do you say pay with anything else besides money? So why do we put pay in front of attention? I mean, isn't that weird? If you really think about it. But it's because we're giving attention a value like currency. So just like I said, with what the woman had said last night about what we spend our money on, that's what we value. Well, also what you give your attention to is what you value, because you're paying your attention to it. So that's something that you're valuing greatly, a great deal, at least in this moment. It is demanding all of your currency as far as your energy goes and your concentration and your focus. So where your attention is. So whatever your attention is on is probably the part of your life right now that is changing, that is shifting, that is needing your attention. Just like when we are injured, say you hurt your toe, no, it doesn't have to be a toe, but anything. How does your body get your attention?
Hurts.
What's that?
Pain.
Pain. Why do you think we have pain? Because again, your attention is valuable. Even your body is designed as this incredible machine where it says, oh, I need to get your attention because something is wrong, something is broken. So I'm going to get you to look at it. I'm going to cause pain, and pain is going to work. And this shows up in our life in every way. So we're having pain in our relationships. We're having pain where we're disliking our job. It's the same thing. Something is off and it gets our attention. So our attention is powerful. It is our currency. It is our energy. And it's now that we're paying attention to this thing, whatever it is. So now all the energy of the universe is focused on this one thing at that time. If you focus on it. Again, learning to bring your attention to these things, to sit with them, is really incredibly important. Then the transformational aspect of that. So we've given all of our money to, you know, this thing, or all of our attention to it. What for? What do we want? What's the goal? So that's the intention. This is the creative force that comes in and can shift and change. So we are looking at something and then we decide, what is it? Why are we looking at it? And that is intention. And so I'm going to look at my toe, and I could look at my toe and I could just sit there in suffering and go, my toe hurts and I hate that and I hate that it hurts. And I could just keep doing that, focusing on how it hurts and how that sucks. Or I can go, okay, my toe hurts. How do I make it better? And that's when intention comes in. That's when the mastery comes in. When we can focus on something and we can say, what is my intention behind looking at it? Well, I want to heal it. And just that simple shift of I'm looking to heal, now the intention is set. So again, if you're looking at your life, you know, this can work in every aspect of your life. You know, your life will show up and it will get your attention somehow. Something's going to be wrong. And we feel that. We'll feel that. It's why we have these strong emotions that show up. They're very similar. We create pain in our bodies, emotional pain, just like we have physical pain. There to get your attention. But the key component is, what is your intention? And when we can become masters of looking at what is causing us pain, what is causing us discomfort, and saying, this is what I intend to create. This is something that I've learned, you know, throughout the many years. Probably 15 years ago is when I started doing similar things like this, only they'd be in person, and we've been, you know, small groups, and it was fantastic. And we just kind of talk about these concepts. And when I started these groups a long time ago, it was, you know, I remember playing with, I want to learn more about this law of attraction and how does it work? How would power of intention work? How do I create things in my life? And so I thought, let's just try, let's test it out. So I remember one meeting I was holding, facilitating, and I invited everybody to the meeting, and I said, okay, tonight we're going to do really powerful. We're going to see each other's vision for one another. Each one of you is going to tell a wish to the rest of the group. And then we're going to see that wish and we're going to cultivate it. We're going to send energy to it. And we're going to see if we can create change in each other's lives. So all you have to do, the only thing you have to do, tell me what you want. Do you want to know how hard that was?
Yeah.
I went to the first person, okay, tell me what you want, anything, tell me. And they were just stumped. Nobody knew. And that was when I started this work that I do now. I mean, why 15 years later, I'm still doing it. And 99% of my conversations are, okay, but what do you want? If I just get you to tell me that, which is the intention behind the attention. Well, okay, you're telling me everything's wrong. You're pissed off with your significant other. You're telling me that your job sucks. What do you want? Tell me what you want. And that is, it's, oh my gosh, it's like pulling teeth sometimes. It's so hard. So oftentimes, you know, I sit with people and instead of asking them what they want, I say, tell me what you don't want.
Yeah.
Tell me a whole list of all the things you hate about your job. And then I write them down. I'm like, okay, so what I'm hearing is you hate that your boss is always over your shoulder. You don't like the people you work with. You don't feel like there's a community. Then I sit there and go, what I'm hearing is you want to have a boss that trusts you. You want to feel free, and I rewrite it for them in that positive statement. I bring them forward. And that is the key to creation right there. It's a miracles come from that space. Once I get them to just vocalize what they want, then they call me the next day, the next week, I'm getting emails. Oh my gosh, you're not going to believe what happened. You know, I'm like, well, yeah, you finally allowed it. You finally let that come to you because you didn't focus on what you didn't want. You focused on what you did want. Let's see. I want to bring you guys into the conversation. And I feel like it's just me talking. So I want to get off of that a little bit. So I'm going to say one more thing really quick. So again, coming back to the dream boards and back to why it was so imperative that people sit in this group setting and utilize that group setting. And this came about last night too. People were doing their dream boards, and then they had the opportunity to post their dream board where everybody could see it. Right? And in that, I mean, how often maybe somebody put, oh, I've always wanted a house just like this, and then somebody else is like, oh my gosh, that looks just like my friend's house. And you know, you never know what can happen when we start opening up and sharing our dreams and our wishes with others. Oftentimes other people, it is innate to our nature to want to help. The second somebody tells you something that they want, the first thing that we do is try and resolve that for them. We want to know, how can I help them? Oh, I know somebody that does that. I know somebody, and then we want to help you. But we can't do that if you're not sharing your dreams, sharing your wishes. So the reason dream boards, one of the big reasons that they work, you know, is it helps you get a little more clear about what you want. You know, you're forced to have to look at, you know, yeah, this looks good. This feels good. This is something I want. You have to sit down with that. You're only putting positive things. You're obviously not going to put on a dream board like a, you know, big circle with a line through it. Like, I don't want this, you know, no one's going to do that. So it's an opportunity for people to put all the things they want somewhere in one space. And a key part isn't even really necessarily putting a picture of the car that you want, but we put the picture of the car that we want, and we look at the picture because it gives us a feeling. Yeah. We feel something when we look at that. It gives us that feeling of freedom, or being on the road and driving, whatever the car gives you. And that is the key. It's what is the essence. And this is really, again, what we're looking to right now, is a lot of us are like, you know, I want more money. Again, money's not going to do anything in this circumstance right now. But what it might do is give you security. You might just feel a little more secure, right? The idea of just having money in our bank makes us feel free. Sometimes we have a sense of freedom. So the key is, you don't necessarily need the money. You need to feel secure. So how can you bring that essence into you right now? Is there a way that you can focus on feeling the sensation of security and freedom, or whatever it is that you're looking for? So with the dream board, when we're looking at it, we want to feel that feeling. But what I did when I was doing these groups, you know, so many years ago, and I was trying to get people to the place where they could tell their dreams to one another, or, you know, vocalize it in a way of what they wanted, was I would make them first sit with it, create the vision in their mind so that they could see it really clearly. And then I would ask them to share it with somebody else, and share it in a way that the other person could see that dream too. So that other person would have to maybe ask questions like, well, I don't understand, like, you know, what is this person like that you want? What is this relationship like? What do you mean by communication? What do you mean by trust? How do you feel that? This person has to get really clear and help you get clear. And then once you can see it in that way, then the idea is to tell the world what it is that you want. So I kind of developed this idea of the Holy Trinity. Think it, feel it, say it. So when we're looking towards, you know, change in our lives, we're looking towards happiness, we have something that's shifting. Again, the key is, Suzanne, what's the key? If you're looking for change, what is the key? You have to know.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. What is the key to change?
Yeah. Well, what if you're looking at something that's in pain in your life?
Intent.
Yeah. How do you fix it?
You basically decide like what it is you want to happen, right? You visualize, you have that awareness, and that you make that decision.
Yes.
Yeah.
The key is, what do I want?
Yeah.
That's it. It's so important. If you guys could just ask yourself that all day long, that's really what setting intentions is. It's okay, you know, so I'm going to get on the phone with unemployment, and I'm going to, you know, or going to message them, and now I'm going to have all this angst in me because I'm going to get hung up on. Nobody's going to answer. What did I just do? I just aligned with all the shit I don't want to happen.
Yeah.
Right? So if setting intention is, I'm looking at a problem, something that's showing up for me that I want to take an action to resolve. So what do I want? And then before I make the call, well, I want somebody to answer the phone. I want that person to be super helpful. I want to get off the phone, feel like a resolution happened, and I got the answer I wanted. That is using the power of intention. And you know, one of the keys is that won't work if you don't believe it. If you're going to go, well, Debbie said I have to get into alignment, so I'm going to, you know, I'm going to get on the phone, and first I'm going to think, but in your mind you're like, but it's not going to work. There's no way that's going to be your result. That's really the trickiest part about intention too, which cycles us back to what Lee said, which is, you know, how much faith do you have that this thing will happen? Because that's really what's most important. Do you believe it's possible? Right? So that's where, again, also commitment. You know, what level of commitment do you think it's going to take from you to create this thing? And are you willing to show up that way? So you got to ask yourself those questions. And again, you're setting all of those parameters. Somebody else might have totally different, you know, thoughts on how much commitment it would take. And both are right. But the only person you have to worry about is, what do you believe as how much commitment this is going to take and how much effort it's going to take for you to have this change? And then how much faith do you have that it will actually happen? And oftentimes when it's just a dream, when it's just a thought, you know, at first it's like, I want a relationship. So you start to think in your mind, you know, I'd love to have a relationship. That'd be fantastic. And then you start to look at your faithometer, you know, from 0 to 100, where is the possibility of having a relationship? And at first it's just a thought, but it's a thought that you've seen lots of other people do. So it seems possible, right? We know a lot of people in relationships, so it must be possible. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with me. So I'm at a good 40% that I could probably get in a relationship, but 40% is still pretty far from 100, right? So now I have to take an action. And that's where the action comes in that Lee was talking about, to build more faith. So the action might be, maybe I just talk to a friend and go, hey, you know, I'm thinking about getting into, you know, finding a relationship, which I do, you know, whatever. At least now I'm voicing it. I'm stepping into that. Now I'm at about 50% because my friend was like, oh my God, yeah, you should, blah, blah, blah. I know you know, whatever happened. And then maybe I go and I'm going to get online. They're going to say, oh, you should try this dating app, or you should go here. And with each move, I'm going to get more and more towards that 100%. Once I'm at 100%, then it's done. And really all you're ever trying to do is build your faith on something. You've just got to get yourself from 0 to 100. And once you're there, it'll be. And that could be with anything. If you could believe you could have $1 million, I mean, just get yourself from faith from 0 to, you can't lie though. You can't pretend to have 100% faith and you don't, or 80% or 90 or whatever. You have to really check in. Do I have that faith? And that's that check in with you. Where am I at? How much do I believe this is possible? Mm-hmm. And the other thing I check things on is the deservometer. So once you have your faith, do you believe you deserve it? Do you believe that you deserve it? And oftentimes, I mean, everybody's different. Some people believe that they deserve it with zero effort. Of course I deserve it just because I'm me. I deserve, you know, right? And some people think, no, you know, I have to work, well, I would deserve it, but I have to work really hard, or I would have to do this. And everybody's got different levels that they think they need to do to earn things. Mm-hmm. So deserving is big. And you want to check in on both of those whenever you're trying to create anything in your life or make a shift or a change. It's, what do I want? How much faith do I have? Do I deserve it? And again, if you ask me, I would say, of course you deserve it. You're 100% you deserve. I would say 100%, you know, I have faith you can do that. 100%, I would say it with zero doubt. But I don't matter in your creation. You have to believe it, right? Anybody have any thoughts on what I just said? Anything come up for you guys?
For me, I had some stuff come up as you were saying that.
Yeah, sure.
And then this is just for me. Okay, so I think, and I've done some of my own work around this, and I think that this whole like idea of deserving, I think I sometimes struggle with, and I think that I sometimes I'm really envious of folks that like are so like automatically like they like, why wouldn't I do that? Like, what, you know, where and I'm like, well, how does their brain function like that, where I'm always like inside questioning myself on every little thing, and do I deserve this, do I deserve that? And I relate it back to like all these feelings of never being good enough, or right, or pretty enough, or smart enough, or whatever enough. Like that's always like what I go back to is like my downfall in everything, right? Like
worthiness.
That comes up for me, and I still work on that.
You are enough.
And I think that that's common among women too. Like I think women, you know, on some level, society has made us feel that way, and of course that's not valid. But I still notice those thoughts somehow ingrained, that like every once in a while, that's like my self-doubt, like that's something that I have to always check and challenge.
How many of you can relate to that?
No one, just me.
It happens. It
Yeah,
happens.
no. Everybody, you know, at some point, you know, many of us battle the self-worth and the deserving, which is why I put that there as an important piece, because, you know, I will oftentimes use the reference of, you know, a painter. I don't know if you've seen, you know, you look at some these days and people are doing crazy stuff, you know, they're just, you know, I've seen people like spitting on a canvas, and you know, there's a chick that like vomits on a canvas, and that's her art. Beautiful. And she, you know, she believes that this is a piece of art, and she believes she should sell it for a significant amount of money. And again, it takes her 5 minutes, you know, whatever, you know, $100,000 she's selling these things for. And then there's people where you'll see it's beautiful. Their art is beautiful, like landscapes, amazing talent, right? And they will hide it under their bed and never show anybody. Maybe they show somebody, but they don't think it's worth anything. And so again, it's just, where are you on the scale? And that's what's the most important. What do you think you deserve? And checking with that, because you've got to figure out a way to get yourself to that 100% I deserve. And, you know, finding people that will remind you how amazing you are and how deserving you are.
I have a question.
Yes.
How do you climb the deserve scale?
That is a super good question.
You have to believe it. You have to believe it when you say it, for one thing.
Yeah, and for everybody that's different. So let's go back to the painting thing, you know. Again, maybe you have to look at your belief system. So what is it that makes you feel that you don't deserve it? Yeah. So maybe it's that you feel you're not educated enough. So then you would go and take some classes, or, you know, you might need to sit with somebody who's an expert painter that you revere in some way, and then that person says, oh my gosh, this is amazing. You know, you might need to hear it from somebody else. And again, for each person, your deserve is going to shift in a different way. You know, my goal is that you'll just know on some level that you deserve. A mantra that I tell people to recite to themselves is, you know, I am lovable and I deserve happiness and love. And 90% of the time when I'm working with people, and they don't have to be people that have really experienced, you know, significant amount of trauma, you know, this, These are just regular people that have gone through regular amounts of trauma. And I have them say those words back to me, and they can't say them without crying or experiencing strong emotions, just to say, I deserve love and happiness. So that's not even saying I deserve, you know, any sort of accolades. That's just the basic foundation of human nature, what we all want. And they have a hard time saying I deserve that. And so this is just something that is really a sickness in our society. And so I would say start with that mantra and get to the place where you can say that and own it and believe it. And then again, with each specific dream, your deserving is going to shift. It's going to change. It's going to be different. You know, it's depending on the thing as to how we can get you to believe that.
That's good.
That's something that you could always talk to me about or with, and I'm really good at getting people to believe they deserve stuff.
Sounds like
I truly believe it. What's that?
Sounds like my Psych. Have you ever done Psych K? It's just like that. They have you say something over and over again, and it's amazing how a simple phrase will your body's fighting it, and you can't say it. It's really simple. Like someone will watch. I deserve to be healthy and happy. That was the first. She just did that as an example because I was getting one the next week. And go, hey, can I just try it? What give me an example. And it was hard to say.
Yeah.
It's just a simple phrase.
Oh yeah.
You know?
So you know, I thank you for saying that, Sonia, because actually 90%, a huge percent of the time, I have to start people because they aren't able to say it. I start them by writing it. So I'll say, I want you to write it on this piece of paper until it loses some charge. And then I move them to saying it. And then the third level is saying it, looking in the mirror to themselves right in the eyes.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, wake up and look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you. I really, 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 really love you. And say it like, until you mean it. Like, look at yourself and just, I really do love you. If you can't love you, you know? It's incredibly important that we make that connection with ourselves. And again, it might start with writing, I love you. Love you, Debbie. You're amazing. You know, write yourself a love letter that, you know, really comes from that feeling tone of, we are running out of time, and I wanted to, before we got off, if anybody had a dream, I want you guys to share it in this space. I want you to feel heard. So I'm cutting myself off so that we can hopefully do this. Does anybody have something that they're moving through right now, something they want to bring into fruition? Maybe it's a big dream in the future. Take advantage of this platform. Be brave. Again, the Holy Trinity. You have to think it, you have to feel it, and you have to be willing to say it. You never know who you're on this phone call with.
Yeah, I'll go.
Go. Yes.
So my intention is career shift oriented. So I just made a little note as you were speaking. I said my intention is to create a career in transformational, personal, spiritual work. So that's why I was kind of attracted to what you were saying on the call with Aaron yesterday. I heard your little story about your yoga studio and all the synchronicities that happen. And those are the kind of stories that are super exciting to me. And I don't know, those are in that kind of space and that kind of work. You can hear more of those kind of stories. So that's why
I have hundreds of them. I have so many. That's just a big one. What's that?
Hundreds of stories personally from your life?
Yeah, from my life. Yeah. I tell everybody that I work with, I want you guys to go out there and take this information, try it for yourself, and then come back and tell me how it worked. You know, again, the key is just being willing to say what you want, and then releasing attachment to how it shows up, which you said at the beginning, and that was beautifully said, right? We can't have, it's going to create that suffering if it's a goal and we've decided it has to show up like this. But you set an intention that had a strong feeling to it and an idea around it. And then your goal is to now work towards that. And oftentimes when we're working towards it, and some of you guys know this, is you have to be willing to take a leap. The universe, whenever we're going through something really big and drastic, there's going to be a big step that you're going to be asked to do that's really scary. I mean, your foundation has to get shook. So that first step is going to be walking into the unknown. It's going to feel like you're stepping off a cliff. It will not be laid perfectly. It's not going to feel super easy to step on. It's not going to be this beautiful, graceful. That first step is going to suck. But after that, magic will happen. I promise you, you're willing to take the first step, and then all of a sudden, that's where those synchronicity stories show up that you heard me tell, and many of the other stories. You have to first take the leap. For me, that leap was teaching a class. Remember when you heard this story, I had never taught a class, and that woman gave me a job. Now I'm in front. I had never even done training to teach, and I'm teaching a class. That was scary, and it sucked, and I had to show up every day and do it. So that first step was huge. And a lot of you, most of you know the story, which is why I'm not going into it right now. Plus, it's a little bit of a long one. I don't want to, but it is a powerful, story of how my studio 7 Hot Yoga came about. So, anyways, anybody else want to share? No, Riley?
Oh, I'm just typing here. Sorry, Riley, go ahead.
I wasn't going to say anything just yet.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'll say something eventually.
Rosita, do you want to speak?
Well, I guess in which area? I guess there's a lot to say about
anything that you want to. And again, we're not talking about what we don't want. We're putting out into the world what we do want. You're gonna say an intention. I intend to create.
I intend to create this world for myself that it's gonna be. It's where I want to be, but it's just scary for me to. It feels like I go a step forwards and then I go one step backwards.
So nope. Only in this space, we're only talking about, we want to see for you this vision of positive. So you got to leave us with your intention is to create what? A life where
I'm happy. I will be happy.
Perfect. Okay, we're all going to see Rosita super happy. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I love it. Okay. How about Susie?
I would like to create and live a life that is full of joy and harmony and peace, and also simplicity, and spontaneity, and not be in this this spin of life, this where life you're just going through the motions, right? So I want to be
negative.
Right. Okay. So I really want to be.
See how we want to do that?
Living in each moment.
So yeah, at the beginning, Susie was amazing. That was a perfect intention. But see how this is how our brains, we don't even notice it, and we just end up there. And we go up high, and then we take ourselves right back down low, and then we land there. We gotta drop off on the high. I want this, boom, I'm just dropping it and I'm walking. And because it's ingrained in us. It's habits that we can't leave it too high without giving an explanation of why, and we gotta take it back down here. And again, that goes back to the deserving. He deserves to be happy and have all of that beautiful, simple, light feeling, free.
Mm-hmm.
Pat, do you have anything? We have a couple minutes.
Cat daddy.
Yeah, cat daddy.
Hey. Hi, Riley. Good to see you.
Hi, Pat. Hi, cat daddy.
Hey, let's see. You know, I've been on a couple of the retreats, and really I want to maximize my 50s. I've said that before. I'm still figuring out what that means, and but for the most part, I want to solve real world problems. My whole career has basically been in entertainment, which solves a problem, but it's not one of those crucial world problems. So I want to tackle one of those.
I know. Yeah, where's the frog? Oh, the frogs are Pat. Yeah, Pat.
Yes,
in his yard. Yes, that's right. I remember you. They're his. We got to experience them. See, that's where perspective comes in. Because for us, we were like, "Oh, that's so nice. Listen to the frogs." And Pat's like, "I hate them." Pat's been on 4 retreats with me, by the way. 4 now.
Wow.
4. Yeah. 4. 3 Costa Rica, 1 Peru. Yeah. Riley's been on 2.
No, 3. No, wait. 2. You're right. Sorry.
Okay. I was like, wait, okay. So, all right.
3 trips, because Hawaii.
Oh, well, that's why. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So then that bumps yours up too, Pat.
Yeah.
All right. Brian. You want to say your intention? Or
Yes. My intention is to charge $1,000 an hour for my coaching.
Love it. Ooh, that's good.
For what?
Yes. Life coaching.
Oh, okay.
Well, something like that, yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay, does anybody else want to take advantage? We are with time, so.
Yeah, I will.
Ready?
Yeah.
Oh, Riley's first, and then we'll go to Lee.
Go for it. Go for it.
All right. So my intention is to make an impact in my work on more of I want to say more of a charitable nonprofit level, to feel very purpose-driven in my work moving forward. And then when it comes to my friendships and relationships, to feel very fulfilled, and to continue meeting more vibrant people and filling my life with more vibrant, just very outgoing people in every area of my life.
Love it. Awesome. Well done. All right. That was worth waiting for.
Okay.
You want to go?
Okay. Am I on?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I've got, you asked about dreams and intentions. And of course, I've got my overall long-term dream and intention. But in the near term, I'm working on getting, and my goal is, my intent is, to get my physical body back in condition to where it should be. There's lots of broken things over the years, and gotten out of shape. So that's a short term.
Did everybody hear it?
Can you hear it?
Did everybody hear what I'm going to call out?
Broken?
Anyone?
Yeah.
Out of shape.
So Pat better get it, because he's been with me 6 different he's the expert of this work. But so Lee, he said out of shape. So Lee, I want you to only say the positive. The intention cannot bring in, because you're leaving us with a picture of you broken and out of shape. And instead of leaving us with a picture of, I want healthy,
that's what I was saying. I said, this is where I'm at, and my intention is to.
Don't tell us where you're at. Just tell us where you're going.
Yes, my intention is, and that's what I'm working towards, is to repair this whole body, okay, and get it back to where it should be. And then the overall longer term goal in that vein is to stop the aging process.
Okay. So there's a lot of negative in there still.
Is there?
Stop aging process.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearing aging and stop. That's really it leaves me with negative instead of to remain youthful forever. You know, that sounds better.
Okay.
To maintain my youth. And then again, and you're saying I want to fix and I want to, that's leaving me with the feeling that there's something broken. Only say, Debbie, I'm intending to live with the healthiest body, to wake up every day feeling vibrant and alive. And I'm going to master maintaining youthfulness. See how much better, how good that feels?
No, I understand the power of positive thought. I did not put that correctly as true. No, positive thought, you're
Awesome.
exactly what you're saying. And all your
Yeah.
thoughts are positive and not, you're right, not what my intention of where I'm trying to go, and don't focus on what's broken.
Yeah.
No, I fully understand that.
Sweet.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for reminding me.
Yes. No, we all need it. Trust me.
It's true.
I'm the mirror. I'm the mirror. I have one more. I want to get Sonia in because that would mean everybody got the opportunity. So Sonia, and then we'll call it.
Okay. I don't know if you saw what I typed, but
Oh, I didn't.
I've had a few, at least two main intentions or manifesting ideas. And one has been cash flow. And I was doing well for a while. Business, my craniosacral business was getting busier, and I was making more. And one thing about intention is sometimes there are, because it's kind of different from what we've been talking about. You have intentions, and then you are positive. Maybe I wasn't having it run through my mind often enough, or I don't know. But I'm always, positive and taking positive. Look, always trying to see positive in everything. But something trying to find what the block is. There's a block, and it's just really hard because I had some cash flow, but it's not like I'm not expecting $1 million. I want to be like have it be more attainable and not way out there. But it's just been a struggle, and I started taking classes, manifesting type classes, and being in alignment for about a year now. Almost, it's probably the 1 year anniversary. So it's not like I'm new at it, but it's just been a real struggle for me. And I just wanted to add that, there are blocks, and when something happens, I always find out, I wonder why that happened, or why did that trigger happen?
So we do need to be aware of the stories that we tell. And we've got examples of that happening here. If you can't say, I want wealth and prosperity, and I'm doing the work, Debbie, because I'm doing my intentions and I'm saying it every day. But every time I get somebody's ear, I'm telling them about my blocks. I'm taking the opportunity to sit down and go, yeah, but every day I'm struggling. I have this. We have to notice that. We may not even realize it because it's so, sometimes it's just something we've gotten into that rut of doing. And we're so comfortable telling the story of lack, scarcity, whatever. And then we're doing the work, but we keep bringing into reality this other story. So I just gave you the opportunity, and the goal of everybody was to have this opportunity to say, we don't know you. I don't know you've had blocks. I love you, and we're going to work on this next time because we'll talk about blocks. But you had the opportunity to create in mass consciousness, to have 9 people here still hanging on. There might be more, I'm not sure. And they're all going to visualize for you having wealth flowing to you right now. You're opening up avenues. It's no longer just coming from that one place that you're expecting it, but it's going to start flowing to you from all these different places. And we're picturing that for you. We're seeing you just living in wealth, and you're allowing it, and you're just telling the story of how much money's coming your way and how you can't. And see, that's when you get somebody's ear, tell that story.
Yeah.
Find truth in it. You can't lie, because lying, you'll know. Your subconscious will know. Find a way to tell the truth. So it's a way to tell the story of how abundant you are. how prosperous you are, how much money you have. And you got to figure out a way, and trust me, there always is. Even in the lowest of lows, you can find a way to tell that story. And the more we tell that story, the more we're creating that and bringing it into fruition.
It's not like I'm telling people negativities, because that's
No. But we do. You know, it's like, we'll just, it's a piece of it. We need to vent. We have to clear. We have to, we don't want to hold it, if we're stuck. So I'm so grateful you guys all joined me tonight. It's so good to have a break and see faces I love. So thank you so much for joining me. And
Good to see you.
we went a little bit past, but I hope you will be there next week as well. I hope.
Is this a weekly?
Friday.
A weekly?
What's up?
This is a weekly.
Every Friday for the next several Fridays, anyways.
Oh, fantastic!
Quarantine.
Quarantine Fridays.
Yeah, Quarantine Friday, 8 to 9. I'll be your date, 8 to 9.
Nice. Cool.
Great to see everybody again.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a great weekend, guys.
Bye.
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 Thank you, Debbie.
Yes. Bye.
Bye, Debbie.
Bye. Bye, Pat.
Bye.